Talk a little bit about one effort that's underway in Sacramento, where you are at the state legislature, SB 1714, which would make California more attractive for solar companies.
Thank you. That's a bill that CAL SEIA is sponsoring. It's authored by Senator Gloria Negrete-McLeod. She represents a district in Southern California that has a lot of warehouses. And we talked to her about doing a feed-in tariff bill in California. I don't know how much your listeners follow this, so I'll try to do this very quickly and not complicated. But California already has a feed-in tariff law right now. It's limited to no more than 250 megawatts statewide, and it does not currently reflect the value of solar attributes, things like the fact that we can generate close to the point of where the customer is going to use the energy. This has not helped us get more solar out there. So CAL SEIA went to see Senator Negrete-McLeod and asked if she would carry a bill that brings us a feed-in tariff at a rate that represents the value of solar projects. That bill is moving through the legislature now. It has a hearing this week in the Assembly Fiscal Committee, and we're hoping that it will gain approval. What would happen if this bill becomes law is that the PUC would then have to go back to its feed-in tariff that it's already approved and adjust it to reflect the value of solar.
And also it would mean that instead of being a wastewater facility a water or wastewater facility in order to qualify, you could be an individual homeowner or an individual business. Is that right?
It could be. For an individual homeowner, I think that's probably going to be probably not very practical. I think for the cost of developing the contract to install the system, this is really about people that have a lot of space and a lot of ability to do excess generation.
And
it would not exclude homeowners, but understand that when you sign a contract with a utility that says I'm going to provide power, you're moving into a different kind of a business arrangement. It's not just occasional excess power. It's a commitment.
Right. And would this bill, SB 1714, set an upper limit for the amount of power that could be generated under it?
It does. The legislature, particularly the Senate Energy Committee, was only willing to give us 500 megawatts total and a maximum system size of up to 3 megawatts. And the reason why I think we can live with that is that if we can show to the legislature and the people of California that we can build out those projects, I'm sure that we can go back and ask for more megawatts to be allocated to renewables. And
what about making the law in a way that would allow individual homeowners to take advantage of feed-in tariffs?
I think that one of the things that homeowners may want to think about is the other ratepayers. One of the biggest challenges with homeowners generating excess electricity is it's not what we call dispatchable power. Dispatchable power meaning that the utility can rely on that as an inventory of electricity that is available to them to send to, say, the rest of the people in your neighborhood. It's really difficult to deal with excess power generated by someone on, like, for instance, my street, which has maybe 15 homes.
Right.
Managing that power that's being sent into the grid right now is something that will be much more practical once we have advanced metering, where a utility can read and monitor when and where that electricity is being sent into the grid. So it's a really good idea, but right now a customer who feeds electricity in the grid a homeowner isn't really going to be able to affect the contracts that the utilities have already entered into to purchase power to supply everyone else.
Right, I see that. So this argues for getting smart grids in place as soon as possible.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. We think that's when you'll see the ability of homeowners to effectively contribute power to the grid, and for the utilities to anticipate when that's going to happen and how they can adjust their contracts. Right now, essentially, power that's generated by a homeowner on my street would probably have very little value to the grid.
Okay.
So paying them for something that has no value is kind of something that people would probably find really, really upsetting.
Okay. Why don't you wrap up by just giving a brief overview of what the solar situation is in California right now, both in terms of the business situation and with regulations and incentives coming out of Sacramento.
Okay. Thank you. One of the issues, of course, that's facing the industry right now is the impending loss of the federal tax credits. All the systems have to be installed and in place by the end of this year. Of course, that means that everyone who has a contract right now is trying to install their systems before the end of the year. This is particularly challenging with local building department permitting requirements. Some building departments can take as much as 3 or 4 months to issue a permit, and sometimes the requirements they place, which are not articulated in any of the building codes, can be really challenging to a solar system. In fact, it may cause the project to be canceled altogether. Nonetheless, we have a lot of projects on the books, and people are trying to finish those projects before the end of the year, which has now caused us to have product shortages.
Right.
So the situation in California right now is one of a very busy industry that's very worried about what's going to happen before the end of the year. If Congress fails to extend the tax credits, the industry is probably not going to be looking at doing much hiring, and probably we'll see some problems next year with solar companies.
What are you doing, and what do you recommend that other people do in order to get Congress to act appropriately?
Write to Congress, alert their telephone numbers, make their lines light up. Right now is a good time to call and talk to every Congress representative across the country, because this is when they're home from Washington. This is when they take vacation, and then they're in district. So if you see them in the coffee shop or you see them in the grocery store, stop them and ask them, what are you doing to extend the solar tax credits? In California, most of the congressmen and, of course, both senators are already supporting the tax credits. So I think that we're really relying on other states other than California to help get a hold of their congresspeople and representatives and push this. Arizona, Oklahoma, Florida, almost any state. This is a place where you could go and you can help us out a lot. And California's already. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, California.
California has obviously been a leader in this and pushing this, and even Governor Schwarzenegger's been really trying to help us as much as he can, and we appreciate that very much.
Now, if the investment tax credit and the production tax credits are passed, what do you see as the future for solar in the country and in California in particular?
Well, the most exciting thing is that they get passed, and it's a reasonable extension. In other words, it's not just 12 months. If they get passed and it's 4 to 6 year extension, 8-year preferably, what we will get is long-term stable growth, which is the recipe for success in the energy industry. What we'll have is people who will be able to develop projects and build projects and create jobs. And this is an incredibly important issue for us, because we all know, if you've done any research in energy, the energy problem isn't going away. And renewables, solar and wind and geothermal and hydro can all contribute to this. So we really, biomass, I don't want to omit biomass, can all contribute to this very effectively. Very important, too, that people not just think about photovoltaics, that they also think about solar thermal. Solar thermal is phenomenal for greenhouse gas emission reduction, solar water heating in particular if you're a homeowner. And in the large scale, they're doing solar thermal electric generation that can also provide solar cooling for a building. So some very new, exciting developments that, unfortunately, we may not get to see if the tax credits are not extended. So
it's all up to the Senate to decide whether to go forward or not.
Pretty much. And the House of Representatives, they need to also get in there and negotiate.
Okay. Tell people how they can get more information about the California Solar Energy Industries Association.
Thank you. They can go to my website, which is www.calseia.org. That's CALSEIA.org. And if you click on Find an Expert, you can find a listing of all the solar companies that are members of our organization.
Good. I want to thank you very much for your work and for talking to us today on Utopia News.
Well, thanks, Mark. I really appreciate the invitation. Hope to come back again and visit again.
So do I. Talk to you later.
Take care.
Okay, bye.